Hello, very good afternoon to all of you. Myself, Dr. Asha Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Environmental Sciences, Government Degree College, Bishna, Jammu. And today I'll be discussing the topic Impact of Modern Agriculture on Environment with you. So, what is modern agriculture? Modern agriculture basically is the agriculture system where new technologies were adopted in mid 1960s, also called as Green Revolution, and it consisted of several components like use of high yielding varieties, chemical fertilizers, pesticides, massive irrigation projects, use of machineries in tools like tractors, threshers, etc. And no doubt all these technologies they improve the agricultural production for our increasing population, but somehow they degraded our environment, and that I'll be discussing in this particular topic. First comes the impact of fertilizers on environment. As you all know that fertilizers they are used for increasing food production as they increases the nutrient content of the soil. Now it has impact on food quality like excessive use of NPK fertilizers, that is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium fertilizers. They causes micronutrient imbalance, and it also decreases the quality of the food like excess application of potash fertilizers. It decreases the ascorbic acid content and carotene content of food. In fact, the protein content as well as essential amino acid content is also decreased because of excessive application of fertilizers. Next comes the impact of fertilizers on soil environment, as most of the fertilizers they contain hydrogen ions, and it increases the acidity of the soil and it decreases the pH, and at low pH the microorganisms they are not able to survive. That's why in highly acidic soils the activity of beneficial microorganisms like nitrogen fixing bacteria it's reduced, that degrades the fertility of the soil. Next comes the impact of fertilizers on aquatic environment. So during rainfall, all of this fertilizers that is applied in the agricultural fields, it gets washed off in the water bodies, particularly the lentic or the stagnant water bodies, and it leads to eutrophication. Eutrophication is increase in the nutrient content of the water bodies that causes increase in the growth of macrophytes as well as algae. Now when this algal bloom is there, and when this algae it dies, it settles at the bottom, and during its degradation it demands oxygen, and because of that the DO content of this water body it decreases, that results into fish kills and also killing of other aquatic organisms. This picture shows an eutrophic water body with the algal blooms floating over it. Next comes the impact of fertilizers on human health. So fertilizers also causes various diseases like cancer as well as methemoglobinemia. This is also called as blue baby syndrome, and in this disease methemoglobinemia, the hemoglobin it combines with nitrite to form a compound methemoglobin that reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin, and the child becomes anemic. That was all about the effect of fertilizers. Next comes the impact of pesticides on environment. So pesticides are the chemical substances used to control pests, and along with the target species or the pest, the pesticides also kill certain non-target species like various essential or various beneficial various beneficial agents like pollinating agents, honeybee as well as butterflies, and earthworms, that is the farmer's friend. They also get killed by the effect of pesticides, and this results into degradation in the quality of the soil as well as decrease in the crop production. Now pesticides also kill soil microorganisms, and killing of these beneficial microorganisms results into the again decrease in the fertility of the soil. Now excess application of pesticides results into development of resistance among the pests. So the pests become super pest, and farmers every time they have to apply increasing concentration of pesticides, and this results into the damage to our environment. Next comes the impact of pesticides on health. So there are various health effects of pesticides like cancer, endocrine disruptions, effects on reproductive system, neurotoxic effects, damage to kidney and liver, birth defects, and developmental changes. In this picture, it's clear that various diseases like hydrocephala or mental retardation or neurotoxic effects are caused due to the effect of various pesticides like endosulfan. DDT also causes thinning of eggshells, and the eggshells, they get broken away before hatching, and this results into the decrease in the population of various bird species. Next comes the biomagnification. So pesticides, they also show an effect called as biomagnification. Though when the pesticides enter into the food chain, with each trophic level, means from producers to herbivores to carnivores, the concentration of the pesticides, it goes on increasing, as the pesticides, they are not easily excreted from the water, from the body of the organisms, and it accumulates in the adipose tissue or the fat tissues, and thereby causing health effects on them. And in fact, human being stands at the top of the trophic food chain, and so the danger becomes much higher. The third effect of modern agriculture on our environment is water logging. As I've already told you that massive irrigation projects were undertaken during Green Revolution, so that led to over irrigation and poor drainage that caused water logging. Now in waterlogged lands, the water table, it rises, and all the soil pores, they get saturated with the water, thereby affecting normal circulation of air, and the soil becomes deficient in oxygen, and the plant roots, they are not able to breathe properly, and the plant therefore dies. Indirectly, waterlogging also causes soil salinization. The soil salinization, it involves increasing the concentration of dissolved solids in soil as well as soil water. Waterlogging, it precedes salinization, and salinization is basically when the water table rises, all the salts from the lower surfaces of the soil, they are brought over the surface of the soil, because due to evaporation pull, the water table, it rises and the water gets evaporated, and all the salts from the lower surfaces, they get deposited over the soil, thereby increasing the salt content or salinity of the soil. These are degraded soils, and plant is not able to grow in such hypertonic environment, and thereby decreasing the fertility of the soil. In fact, in this diagram, it's clear that due to waterlogging, the water moves downward, but when impermeable layer is present, then the water, it again move upward due to evaporation pull. Now due to evaporation and transpiration, the water, it gets evaporated, and the soil which are brought from the lower layers, they get deposited over the soil surface, increasing the salinity content of the soil. This is all about the effect of modern agriculture on our environment. Thank you.